Hello, everyone. Welcome to Club Book with Jessie Q. Sutanto. I am PJ Tracy, New York Times bestselling author of the Monkey Wrench and Detective Margaret Nolan series. I am also still really numb from a dental appointment, and so you have my apologies. I assure you, I am not drunk. So, before I introduce our guest properly, I'd like to tell you a bit more about this unique series that brings her to us. Club Book is a program of MELSA, the Metropolitan Library Service Agency, made possible through Minnesota's Art and Cultural Heritage Fund and coordinated by Library Strategies, part of the Friends of the St. Paul Public Library. Carver County Library is the co-organizer of this evening's talk. Thanks also to partnering bookseller Red Balloon Bookshop, which I adore. A purchase link to Vera Wong's guide of stooping on a dead man will be available in the comments section of the live stream feed. Have it shipped, pick it up at their charming store, or if you're in the area, they will deliver right to your door. One final housekeeping note. Also in the comments, you'll see a survey link. Melts would love to hear what you think of a club book program this evening. It's really quick and easy. Okay, so on to the main attraction. Our guest tonight is internationally acclaimed author Jessie Q. Sutanto, and she writes across all genres and for all ages. Her fiction to date includes the middle grade Theo Tan series and several young adult novels. The latter include revenge thriller The Obsession, campus mystery The New Girl, and laugh out loud rom-com. Well, that was unexpected. All draw inspiration from the author's Chinese Indonesian heritage and life spent between Jakarta and Singapore. Adult readers may know Sutanto best for break the mold detective stories like Dial A for Aunties and Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders, both of which have been optioned for screen adaptations by major studios. Sutanto and her Chinese shopkeeper turned sleuth Vera Wong won the Edgar Award for Best Original Paperback and the Audi Award for Mystery in 2024. Wong is back in Sutanto's newest release, Vera Wong's Guide to Stooping on a Dead Man. The Seattle Times raves Sutanto proves once again that no crime or nosy auntie is too big to handle. Now, after a short talk by our guest and some initial questions from me, we'll have time for audience Q&A. Just drop your questions in the comments thread here on Facebook, and our tech manager will route them to me. You can also message Club Book through Facebook Messenger or send an email at clubbookmn@gmail.com. So let's get this party started. Welcome, Jessie. It's wonderful to have you here. Can you tell us?
Hi.
Hi. Can you tell us a little bit about you and Vera's latest book, which was delightful?
Thank you so much, Tracy, and thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. That was so nice. I was just sitting here kind of being like, oh, oh,
Well, you should be in awe of yourself, darling.
But yeah, so thank you for having me here to talk about Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. I always like forget this title because I feel like it's really long. But right, so Vera Wong, she is like series has just been the most astonishing series for me because I'd like to talk about how these books actually happened. So the first Vera Wong book, which I have here, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. So I had written Dial A for Aunties. this is like my first, I guess I would call it my breakout book. And it's about a young woman who accidentally kills her blind date, as you do. And then she has to get the help of her very meddlesome mom and aunts to help her get rid of the dead body. Um, all while catering to a wedding,
Oh,
uh, because that wasn't enough chaos.
I love it.
So I I wrote Ballet for Aunties, and it was the most joy that I had ever felt writing a book. It was the eighth book that I had ever written. No, book, the ninth book. Um, and I was laughing out loud while I was writing it, and it just brought me so much joy. And of course, people loved it. They just couldn't get enough of the meddlesome auntie's characters. And so after that, I really wanted to write a book where the meddlesome auntie is the main character. And that was how I came to this book. Um, and of course, in true Vera fashion, it was the most chaotic start because I thought of the pitch kind of in the middle of the night at 11 p.m. my time, um, which ended up being the blurb. Um, and here we're talking about how Vera is a lonely woman and she finds a dead man in the middle of her tea shop. And so, of course, she takes it upon herself to start investigating because I always love this line. Because nobody sniffs out a wrongdoing quite like a suspicious Chinese mother with time on her hands. Um, and so I sent that to my agent. My agent got really excited and sent it to my editor. And then before I knew it, my editor was like, I want to push everything, that you had on your schedule back, and I want this book to be your next book. And I was like, well, hang on, I only have this wonderful pitch that I sent you. I don't have a plot. I don't know why, like who the dead guy is. Why is he dead inside some woman's tea shop? I don't know anything. And she said, that's okay. I have faith in you. And I was like, no. So,
That's
um,
kind of scary though, right?
yeah, it was very scary. So it usually takes me 2 months to draft a book.
That's
But
it? 2 months? Really?
yeah, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a very chaotic, zero chill writer. Um, and I think she gave me 3 months, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it as fast as I can so that if it's a mess, then I'll know how to fix it. So I wrote the first half of the book in 1 month, and then after that, I checked into a luxury hotel,
Ah, very
and
good.
yeah, for 3 nights, and finished the second half of the book. And it was the most magical experience because I was so fully immersed in the story. I had, no interruptions. There was no like real life, knocking on my door and stuff like that. And yeah, it was just wow, I fell in love with that process. And ever since then, that's how I write all of my books. But truly, it was like the craziest, roller coaster ride. I was joking to my friends, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get the book cover before I even writing the book. And that did happen.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So yeah, and so I thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a mess. But then it ended up being my most popular book. So which leads us now to this one, the sequel. So I kind of I sold Vera Wong, the first one, as like a standalone book, because we weren't sure, how well it was going to do. And happily, it did so wonderfully well that I was my publisher was happy to allow me to do a sequel. So with the sequel, it was inspired by real life events, which I talked about a little bit in my acknowledgments. But so basically, my parents and I were in Singapore, and my mom got this phone call, and he was like, "Hi, is your name this?" And she's like, "Yes." And he said, "Is this your credit card number?" And she was like, let me check. And he recited it, and it was right. I don't even know like how he got that, but um, and he said, "Okay, I'm from your bank, and I just wanted to confirm this charge that was just, I think it was like $4,000." And of course, my mom was like, "What? Like, no, I didn't make that purchase, um, and she asked like what store?" And he said Target, which is so funny because like we're in Singapore, we don't have Target.
Not such a smart scammer after all, right?
I know, but he was like, "Oh, Target.com." And and my mom was like, "What?" And then he said, "Yeah, so and also like a week ago there's another charge of like $3,000." And so of course my poor mom, she's panicking,
Right.
and she's like, "No, no, like this is not me. Like cancel it now." And he was like, "Okay, don't worry, I'll do that. It's all okay, and I'm gonna transfer you to the police station. Just hold the line." And she was like, "Okay, okay." And so they transferred her. Someone else picked up the phone, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm Officer." I think it was like Kevin Pan or something. I actually put the name that the scammer
Oh,
gave in the book. And he was like, "Don't worry, ma'am, everything's gonna be fine. All you need to do is email us a photo of your ID,
oh,
like front and back." And my mom was like, "Yeah, yeah, okay, okay." Like she immediately did that. And
oh,
then she came to my hotel room and was like, "Oh my God, you would never believe what just happened, but don't worry, I settled it."
oh, no.
I
I
yeah,
said,
I
and I'm on the dark web now, all over the place.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean now, oh my God, I know, right? Like I shudder to think what my
Oh,
mom's identity is
so
being used for.
terrifying.
Yeah, and so when she told me, I was like, "Oh my God, wait, this feels really bad. Like it feels wrong." Honestly, to be honest with you, like I was not 100% sure, but I was like, I don't know if it feels 100% okay. Um, and so I tried sending an email to that email address that she was given, and my email was rejected. It was like,
Oh,
"Oh, this is not an operation." I don't know why they did that. Like, why didn't they keep it up for a bit longer? But whatever. So it was rejected, and so I was like, oh no, I have such a bad feeling about this. Um, so then I hit, call back on her phone, and I actually got through to the scammer, and
they
he was like, "Oh
answered.
yeah."
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, "Yes, this is police officer, whatever his name was." And I was like, "Oh." Um, I was so surprised. I was so like taken aback, was not expecting that. And I was
I'm
like, "What?
sure.
Yeah, like which police station do you work in?" And he actually gave me, like a proper police station.
They
And
are
so
getting better and better at
they
this.
are so good. They are
Yeah.
so good. And I was like, "Can I have your badge number?" Like I wasn't sure what they use in Singapore, but I was like, like some form of police ID number. And he gave me, of course it was a fake one. And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to that police station right now." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, no worries. I'll see you there."
Oh, wow.
Oh, oh my God. So me and my parents, we hopped into a cab. We went to that police station. And of course, he did not exist.
Right.
But it was an actual police station, where we actually filed a police report. And yeah, and they told us like, oh, scammers, they're so good
Yeah.
nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
they're really good at like making people panic. So they would call people and be like, oh, you didn't pay your speeding ticket
Yeah.
from like a month ago, and now, each week the fine increased, and so now you need to pay like $2,000,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or they would find immigrants or expats, and they would call them and be like, your work visa has lapsed and
Oh,
you really need to give us your details, blah blah blah, otherwise you're going to be kicked out of the country. So yeah, they're so good at it.
and they're
And
just they're
so yeah.
predators. They're hideous.
Hmm. Yeah. But okay, wait, this is gonna be a spoiler. So people who have not read the book, like please, cover your ears, and I'll wave when I'm done with the spoiler. Okay, so the thing is, I was filled with like righteous rage, walking in. I was like, my
Right.
God, these scammers, they're scamming, especially elderly people, blah, blah, blah. And then the police officer I was talking to like told me, yeah, but most of these scammers are human trafficking victims themselves.
Right.
Yeah, they're brought to Singapore by these human traffickers from other parts of Asia, usually Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam. And once they arrive, their passports are taken, and then they're told, "Oh, you're here illegally, by the way. So you can't go to the police because they're gonna like arrest you."
Right.
And then they're forced to do these phone scams or email scams, and lots of other scams. And then when they outlive their usefulness, then they are murdered,
Right.
and thrown away. And so I was like, whoa, whiplash from like enraged to like, oh my God,
Yeah.
these
Right.
poor people. And and then I think because our phones are always listening to us, once I had that conversation, the algorithm kept like giving me these news articles about that. Like
Right.
there was actually a Singaporean guy who was kidnapped by human traffickers in Thailand and then forced to work as a scammer. And I was like, oh my God. So yeah, that's okay. Spoilers done.
Spoilers done. Yeah, we can come on back. That that aspect of the book, and this is not a spoiler. I was just very I was moved. I've done similar research, and that aspect of it, I thought, it was everything was so beautifully done in your book,
Mhm.
and I just loved the juxtaposition of just this absolute delightful, there Vera is a light, right? And and yet you tackle and integrate some darker things into this, and I thought it was really really well done. And everything about it was uplifting. There were
Oh,
happy
thank
endings.
you.
Yeah, no, I really did. Now I'm dying to know, because Vera is such a crown jewel, and thank you answered so many questions that I already had kind of queued up for you. But I want, if you don't mind getting down into a little more personal about your process and Vera as a character. Um, is she, I know, she's based on personal experience, life experience. And is she based on someone specifically, or is she an amalgamation of many?
Oh, so she is like 100% my mom and dad.
Okay.
Just the two of them together form one person, and that is Vera. And like, all of the funny, pieces of advice that she gives people, like don't drink iced water because it'll freeze the fats in your arteries and you'll have a heart attack. Like that is literally what my parents say every time they see me drink ice water. They'll be like, "Do you want to get a heart attack?" So, um, or like, "Oh, if you sleep after 9 p.m., you're gonna get a stroke." Just stuff like that.
Listen, I have a Taiwanese stepmother, so I totally
Oh,
get what you're saying.
yeah. Um, yeah, and so I feel like, you know what, this is payback, for me like living with that and
I love it. Now, Deb, I want to circle back to you staying in a luxury hotel in I mean, that process and your speed is just absolutely stultifying to me. I can't even believe it. And I'm jealous. But how do you? I mean, I'm sure you're not writing a whole book in a luxury hotel for a month. So how do you balance your kids and your home life with being so prolific and so swift with your writing?
Mhm,
What do you draw from? Is it just your personality or discipline or just the way your mind works?
mhm. So it's a lot of things. I like to say that I'm driven by Asian guilt. And I think there is no better motivation
Mo-
than Asian guilt.
Driven, drive away the guilt.
Yes. So that's definitely one. Um, and I mean seriously, like my parents have no chill because drink ice water, have a heart attack.
Right.
So you can kind of see a
Totally, I
glimpse of
get
what they're
it.
like. Yeah. And then second of all, I'm always very upfront about that. I have a lot of help, especially with the kids. So
Okay.
we have a full-time helper, so I don't want people thinking like, oh my God, you can do it all. You really cannot.
No, yeah, right.
Like, yeah, I drop a lot of balls. And then the third is my method of writing, which is that I set it for 15 minutes, and during those 15 minutes, I can only write. I don't allow myself to like edit at all. I don't allow myself to be like, oh, well, that sentence is kind of clunky. Let me
Oh,
just rewrite that. Like, no,
uh-huh.
it's like pure, just only going forward, no going back. Um, and because I do it that way, the words come out a lot faster.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, in those 15 minutes, usually I get about 500 words.
Wow.
So, and I aim for 2,000 words a day.
Okay.
So then that's actually only for, 15-minute chunks.
Okay.
So that's actually like when I look at it that way, I'm like, well, that's doable.
Uh-huh. Right.
So I do 2,000 words a day. I only write on weekdays, so I rest on weekends. And
Good.
then yeah, otherwise, you'll burn out.
Oh, you will, yeah.
Yeah. And so then at the end of 4 weeks, I have 40,000 words, which is basically half of a book. And then that's when I go into this luxury hotel. And even while I'm there, I write the exact same way. I set a timer for 15 minutes. I try to aim for 500 words, but I just do it more. So then, people are like, well, isn't the writing going to feel rushed? I don't think it does because I'm still writing at the exact same speed. I'm just
Hmm.
doing more
More of
of
it,
the
right.
writing rhymes. Yeah. And
Right.
I still like have, my big meals and I still sleep 7 hours
Hmm.
at night. So it's not like, I'm writing 24/7 for those 3 days. And so, yeah, I think that's basically how it's possible.
Wow. That it's absolutely fascinating to me. And I've never met another author who does that. I mean, I've read about certain authors that they have so many words and they have a time limit, but those bursts of speed and,
Mhm.
it's almost like sort of baked into the cake is the fact that you have this intensity for a brief period of time, but there's an end and you can see the end in
Mhm.
15 minutes. So it's very, writing, any kind of art, but especially writing on deadline is so intensely psychological. And it's really easy
Mhm.
to like get burned out or to psych yourself out. So that seems like you found kind of a panacea to that thing that we all get caught up in sometimes. Just
Mhm.
fascinating. I love it. I mean, it's really amazing to me because, I'm lucky to finish a book in a year.
Well, but I feel like your books are so well researched and like I love books where you can really tell like the author knows what they're talking about.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
just get that sense with yours.
Oh, thank
But
you.
with mine, I feel like because I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna write about this. So that everything is very chaotic. So I really like that's something I strive for is to take more time to go really in depth because authors like you show that um you set the bar
Oh,
and it's
please.
annoyingly high.
Oh, that's very sweet of you to say. But honey, don't stop what you're doing because it's brilliant and it brings you joy. And that's what writing should be. I always say, have fun. Always have fun. And
Mhm.
you are. And it
Yeah.
it, re it really, really, shows in your work. I think that's wonderful. And that was great. You answered another question because everyone wants to know about the writer's process. And you answered that.
Mhm.
And now I want to know, I have some questions that were submitted earlier, and there was one that really intrigued me. And it says, does Jessie plot and write all in English or switch between languages? Since she's multilingual, does she have any direct role in the translation work?
No, I don't because so
You
I
don't
was
have
raised
time.
in Indonesia.
Yeah.
I was raised in Indonesia until I was 8, and then I moved to Singapore where the primary language is English.
English, right?
Um, so I have an 8-year-old's vocabulary of Indonesian. I can read comics in Indonesian, but I cannot read newspapers. Like I don't understand news articles in Indonesian. Um, so I definitely only write in English. I mean, I also speak Chinese, but whenever I speak Chinese, my aunts and my mom will get very angry and be like, "Oh my God, why do you sound like that?" I don't know why I sound like that.
That's hilarious because I actually know somebody who did. It's like you lost your Chinese. You sound horrible. You sound horrible.
Yeah,
It's like, but I'm speaking
yeah,
the language. I have an accent. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Now, all right. I've died to know if Fair is going to return because you said, and this happens to me, you say, I'm going to write a standalone, which was the first Fair book. Then it did so well, they asked for a sequel. But in my
Mhm.
experience, standalones with sequels turn into series. And I'm sure everyone
Mhm.
loves to see a series. Is anything new for Vera in the works?
Yeah, so I
Yay!
was so resistant. I was very resistant to like turning it into a series because so a very wise author once said, first books is like you're building a sandbox and filling it with the most wonderful toys and you just love it. And then second books, you're trapped in the sandbox and no one can hear you scream.
I love it.
And I think that's so true.
Well, it
So
is.
then yeah, I was always like, I don't know if there will be a sequel. But uh, I am writing. I just started writing the third book, and it's very exciting because it's set in Paris. Um, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I I did this, like I made this promise at the end of the second book, right? That Vera is going to Paris. So,
Yeah, I know.
and
I
then
was like, I can't
yeah,
wait.
after that, I was like, why Paris? I know nothing about Paris.
You'll
Um,
have to go.
I know. I was like, why didn't I say, another like fun destination that I'm actually familiar with, like Tokyo or something? I don't,
Right, right.
but I said Paris. So now I live on Google Maps,
Yeah.
studying like Paris, like as much as I can. So yeah, but I did start writing it, so I'm very
Okay.
excited.
Oh, that's very exciting. Now we just got a viewer question and it popped off my screen, but she was wondering if there are any more Theotan or young adults in the pipeline.
So far, no more Theotan
Okay.
because like quite frankly, those books did not do well. And
Okay.
when a book like when an author puts out a book and it doesn't do well, publishers usually are like, well, no, I don't want more books from you.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
very lucky because I write in different genres and different age categories that
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't burned, all my bridges. So thank God for that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And with the YA, I saw a review that said, this is why we should stop letting millennials write YA.
No.
I was like, oh my God, I'm scarred for life. Um, I just like turned into, a pile of ash and blew away into the wind. I felt so old.
That's horrible. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord. Well, they were totally wrong and they were angry and bitter and they're jealous. So forget that.
Thank
I
you.
popped up another question for you. Um, she was one, and again, it disappeared. So I'm doing this from memory. But she wondered if you toured internationally and if you have any really great stories from book tour. I know I do.
Oh wow. Well, I'm so jealous that you do, but I have never had a book tour, but I'm about to have one in oh my goodness, like a couple of weeks time.
Oh
And
wow.
it's for this book, Worth Fighting For, which is a Disney book. It's a Disney retelling of Mulan, set
Oh,
in the modern day world.
oh,
So I'm
wonderful.
so excited. Yeah, and all my friends told me, like Disney, they treat their authors right on tour. So
Yes.
I'm like, yay, that's like the best thing to hear. So I'm
Well,
very excited.
how did that opportunity come about, right, for Disney?
Oh my gosh. So an editor reached out to my agent after she read Dial A for Aunties, and
Uh-huh.
she told my agent, well, we have this line of books, the Meant to Be series, where we reimagine each princess
Oh,
in a modern day setting. Would Jesse be interested in doing that for Mulan?
oh,
And
that's so
I
great.
told yeah, I told my agent, I was like, oh my God, like tell her I want to do it. Like I will do it for half a banana. Like I need this. Luckily thank God we have agents because my agent did not,
Yes. Yeah.
um, yeah, sell it for half a banana.
Right, right. And she
But
would say, okay,
yeah.
here's one whole banana.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I will do anything. I have no integrity. Whatever she wants me to write, I will write. And my agent's like, again, will not be passing that along to the editor, but I will tell her you're very enthusiastic about this project.
Oh, that's great. What a wonderful wonderful story. Well, I can't wait. Well, listen, good luck on book tour. You're gonna have a blast, and I guarantee you'll be treated very well. So it's very exciting.
Oh, thank you so much. I am very anxious about it. I have this fear that no one is gonna show up, and then I'm just gonna like that's gonna haunt me the rest of my life. And even after I die, I will come back to life just to like cringe, and then go.
Listen, and the thing is, if people, depending on where you're touring, and if they don't know your other books, there may be some that are sparsely attended, some that aren't.
Mhm.
The thing that really matters is that people, no matter how many come to see you because they want to know
Mm.
about you. They love your work, and so if it's 5 or 100, it's important, and you're building a fan club that way also. So,
Oh, thank you.
I
That's
mean,
such good
it really
advice.
is. It's don't fear being haunted because it
Right.
happens to every author. I mean, it happens to famous, really, really famous authors. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
raining, it's snow, whatever it is. So,
Yeah.
but good luck, and I will be thinking of you and sending you good thoughts in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
I have another great question from the audience, and she wants to know about your family, your food, and do you cook?
Mhm. So, my immediate family, I have two daughters who are just so funny. They say the funniest things all the time, which I post on Instagram. Um, and and then my extended family is huge. So my dad has six brothers and sisters, and my mom has eight brothers and sisters.
Oh, wow.
And then, all of my aunts and uncles got married and had kids. So then I have a ton of first cousins.
Wow.
I think I have I want to say like 17 on my dad's side and like maybe 25 on my
Oh,
mom's side.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And and everyone is so meddlesome. Well, no, I mean not my generation, but like my parents' generation, they're like super meddlesome. So I
Yeah.
always say, dial A for aunties. Um, like I deserve that book, because like, oh my God, the network, between like these Chinese families, they rival that of the CIA. Like I
Or the mob.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes, they are more like the mob. You are absolutely right. So yeah, that's my family. They're always like up in each other's business. They have a lot of rivalry, like one day they'll be like, "Oh, we're not talking to fourth aunt." And then, then the next day, "Oh no, it's second aunt now." So
Oh, there's a
there's like,
hierarchy that shifts, right?
oh yeah, yeah. Yes, because like in a lot of Asian cultures, the hierarchy goes by age. Oh, and so actually, yeah, a lot of people pointed out to me after the first Vera book that she's not actually old, like she's like 60. So,
Right, right.
which is true. But then she's always like, "Oh, I'm such a frail old lady,"
I'm dying.
and yes, and it's because of it's part of Chinese culture because the older you get, the more respect you get. So my parents actually started telling me that they're old and about to die when they were like 40. So,
Because they were drinking ice water and going to bed past
yeah.
9, right?
So yeah, that's my family. Sorry, I forgot the other
Oh, I'm sorry.
question.
They were asking about food and what you
Ah,
eat
food.
and what do you cook personally?
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So, one of my favorite pastimes is like I love taking afternoon naps. And as I lie in bed, what I like to do is like watch cooking videos.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and then I just like drift off to sleep. So I've done this for years, and I wasn't really cooking. Like I said, like we have a helper, and but then my family started getting sick. We were getting a lot of food poisoning, and so I
Oh,
think um, Yeah, so I think the level of hygiene in Indonesia is like not quite like as high as, you know, we would like it to be.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, I'll start cooking. And all of a sudden, and you know, I started cooking all these like various dishes, and my husband was like, wait, like you just went from not cooking to like cooking entire feasts. Like, what
Wow.
happened? And I was like, you know what? It's all those cooking videos. They've like,
Right?
you know,
They were
I've absorbed
inspiration.
them, and yeah, and now I can just kind of be like, yeah, okay, this is what I do with these ingredients. So I mostly cook Chinese food, so then it's mostly like plain rice and then two different dishes to accompany it. So yeah, that's my journey with food.
I know I loved it. I mean, the food in the book was so great. Well, hello
Oh,
there.
so
Who's this
this
beautiful?
is this is my 9-year-old daughter. Her name is Emmy. Do you want to say hi? Hi.
Hi
I don't know
there.
if
How are
that
you?
good.
We were just
She's
talking about your mommy's cooking. What's your favorite meal that your mommy cooks?
dumplings.
Dumplings are my favorite too. What kind of dumplings? Pork and chive?
Yes, correct. Exactly. Oh, well, she's on her way to get to school.
Oh,
Yeah. And I say hi. Bye.
bye-bye. Nice to meet you, honey.
I love you. Mhm. Put some QB on it. Oh.
What a cutie.
Um, I can't do that now, okay?
Is that her knapsack?
No, that's her stuffed toy. It's a
Oh,
stuffed
okay.
chicken.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what it was. That's so cute. Okay, I got another question too, and then somebody was hearkening back to worth fighting for. She wants to know how you prepared for it, and if you watched Mulan like 500 times.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, you know, Mulan, when I was growing up, I hated that she was our Disney princess because
Oh,
it's like all my friends and I in Singapore, we were like, really? Like, you know, they get like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and ours is like, oh, I saved China. What are you gonna do? Yeah,
you wanted like a nice little princess that didn't do anything but get manicures, and you have a fierce warrior.
yeah. And of course, I was in a very strict Singaporean all-girls school. It was called the Convent of the Holy Infant Jesus St. Nicholas Girls' School. It
Wow.
was so strict. Like, you know, you couldn't wear hairbands that were colorful, only
Oh,
black and navy blue hairband,
wow.
and no Pandoras, no.
No,
Like,
no Pandora's.
yeah, zero, you know, no jewelry, socks had to be white, and you know, all of this, these rules. And I know you got it lucky.
She's little. Wow, you grew up in like a dungeon.
Yeah, I know. So expectations were very high. And then one day, our teacher was like, "Oh my gosh, did you guys know that we got a Disney princess?" Yeah,
Oh,
that's right. And so we were so excited. And then she played it in class, and we were like, "Oh, great." You know,
there. I
were
mean,
your expectations not high enough? Like,
well, it's really funny because like all the kids over here are like, why can't we have a princess like Mulan? You know,
yeah, I
I guess
know, I know.
she's so fierce, but the grass is always greener,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm really glad I went to that school because uh it was so disciplined and because it was an all girls school, our principal was always like, adamant that we needed to outperform the boys' schools.
Oh,
And yeah, and so I felt like it was very instrumental in like my in shaping my competitiveness
oh
and you
yeah.
know my kind of and my refusal to believe like you know, oh yeah, boys are naturally better at, you
Uh-huh.
know, XYZ. So so anyway, that was like my backstory with Mulan. But it was like I was so proud and yet also, you know, like, oh, my burden has grown.
Yeah, well,
And so sorry, hang on.
oh, that's right.
Sorry, I need to give my kid like her medication before she
Go
goes to school.
ahead,
Just
go
give me one
ahead.
minute, 1 minute.
All right, no problem.
It's
Well,
okay.
that was actually a real thrill to meet her daughter. What a doll. And we got to hear
Uh,
about cooking, and
uh,
it's so
Lima
much
minute.
fun. But I am so enjoying speaking to Jessie because well, I
Oh
was
my
just
goodness,
telling
I'm
people
so sorry.
how much I was enjoying speaking to you.
Um, yeah, so when I was asked, you know, if I would be interested in writing Mulan, what the process was, I needed to write a pitch, which is just like, you know, 5 paragraphs maybe.
Right.
So I did that, sent it off. They had a few changes to make, and then the next thing I had to do was, so she actually said, I want to see an outline and I think it was 2 sample chapters. Um, so I wrote an outline, and my outlines have like no chill, by the way. They are like 8 pages long. Um,
Okay.
they detail exactly what is going to happen.
So you
Um,
outline everything.
Oh yeah, now yeah, I definitely
Okay.
do. And I know I hear of like authors saying, you know, oh no, but sometimes my characters like misbehave, they veer from the outline. Like, no, I am a
Guilty.
Chinese
Yeah.
mother. My characters listen.
Mine never ever listened to me.
But yeah, and I told my editor like you know, I stick to the outline like with military precision. So what you see is definitely like what you get.
They like that
And
though. They know what
yeah,
to expect.
yeah. And so she read the outline and she was like, I love this. I'm gonna take this to the team. So I didn't actually end up having to give sample chapters
Okay.
because my outline was so good.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, you front load the work and then you just have fun, filling it in.
Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, of course, you know, I have lost count of the number of times I watch Mulan
I'll,
to prepare
I'll bet.
for it. Yeah.
I'll bet. Wow. Well, I mean, what a fun diversion too. I mean, having, there's something kind of cool about having an assignment. It's sort of like series writing. You have to stay
Hmm.
within these parameters. And in some ways, it's a bit of a
Hmm.
safety net, or a security
Hmm.
blanket that, you,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
can't stray off the path too far. Okay, we have now this is a really good question. Jesse, do you ever have time to read for fun? And if so, what do you like? And if anything, what are you reading now?
Um, so yes and no. Now I would say I read I think all of my books I listen to on audio
Okay. All right.
while I'm cooking.
Oh, nice.
Um, I know it's like it's the best feeling like and it's like my me time, you know, and my kids they're like, "Can I help you cook?" And I'm like, "No." Like, get out of the kitchen.
That is, I mean, it's my therapy. It's
Mhm.
my catharsis. It's where I go to empty.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can do that totally empties my mind. So when I'm
Yes.
having parties or guests and I'm in the kitchen, people are like, can I help? Can I help? I'm the same way. I'm like, no, go sit down, drink. I want to be alone.
Yes, yeah. I just find it so distracting to be chatting
Well, you
while
can't
cooking.
focus.
Yeah, yeah. So that yeah, I do still read for fun. And I only, well, not only, but I would say like 90% of the books I read are thrillers, suspense thrillers, especially like psychological suspense. That's my favorite ever genre. Sometimes, I'll be like, okay, well, I need something lighthearted, but then I would
Right.
listen to it and I'd be like, but when's the dead body gonna turn up? So
Oh, you're a girl after my own heart.
yes, and I only buy suspense from female writers because just because I'm tired of like a ton of rape scenes and
Oh, I know the
uh,
misogyny
yeah,
of, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's mostly what I read. I just finished reading The Perfect Divorce by Geneva Rose,
Mhm.
which is really good. It's a sequel to
Okay.
The Perfect Marriage. And I actually asked Geneva, like, are you a lawyer? Like, how do you know so much about law? See, once again, like that thing where the author knows so much about what they're talking about. And
I mean, is she a lawyer?
no, she's not.
Oh,
And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Well, you fooled me.
I mean, research is one of my favorite things to do. I just really, really get into it. I mean, I enjoy it so much.
Wow.
Yeah. So is that kind of a future goal is to start killing people in your books? I mean, like a suspense thriller kind of murder.
Well, I've written a couple of suspense thrillers, and I really loved writing them. Those books, like, I think they didn't do like amazing. They didn't flop super hard, but they're like So I think my publisher is like also kind of on me writing more of those. But
Oh,
we'll
okay.
see, because I do love the genre so much.
Yeah, I mean it's so great. Now, and so the obsession, is that one of them?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, all
Oh,
right.
well, that one is a YA thriller, and that one
Okay.
actually did really well. So,
Okay.
yeah, YA thrillers maybe.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, the YA, I always think, gosh, but of course, I loved thrillers when I was a young adult too.
Mhm.
I mean, I read The Shining by Stephen King when I was 10. I
Mm,
just couldn't, it's
wow.
just, well, it might explain a lot about me and my career, but yeah, it's just, and I remember, I don't, well, you're way too young, but Nancy Drew was the young adult
Hmm.
sleuth, and there were like 20 books. I think it was Carolyn Keene
Yeah.
who wrote them, and I devoured those. I mean, they were so great.
Hmm.
And I always thought, I wish somebody would kind of do kind of a mystery. Now, was Theo Tan a mystery series, like kind of a Chinese Hardy Boy?
I know, so, well, sort of, but it's more fantasy.
Oh, okay.
The Yeah, that was really tough because I had to figure out like you know the uh the magic system and all
Oh,
that. That was
Jesse, it's free, free. Are
that's
you
a
there?
real
Okay.
headache.
Yeah,
Can
you're
you
freezing
hear
up
me?
a little bit, Jesse.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, I hope
Oh,
this is
you're
better
good. You're
now.
back.
Ah, shoot.
That's all right. You're
Okay.
you're back. That's fine. It was very brief.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay, good. We're back. So, but yeah, I mean, so we kind of got interrupted, but you were talking about, I mean, the hardest thing I think for fantasy, and I've never wanted to write it, I've never tried to write it, but the world building that you are creating
Mm-hmm.
this from scratch. I mean,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah, and that's difficult. I mean, you know, you look at any fantasy and they're really good ones, but
Mm-hmm.
in Harry
Yeah.
Potter even. Now I just got known from
Mm-hmm.
our dear David that we have time for one more question after this. Do you have something you would like to say or a question that you wish I would have asked?
Um, no, I mean, I was actually wondering about like when you said you love research, how do you go about doing it?
Well, I mean, I'm so old that it used to be trips to the library, and you know, in college, I would just glom onto my profs and ask them everything. And now I do a ton of it in, you know, online like everyone else. But the thing is, I was very fortunate to have a big family and many connections to law enforcement and the
Wow.
FBI and
Yeah.
SWATs. And I lived in
Wow.
LA for 10 years and knew a lot of very different people, you know, FBI and everything.
Yeah.
And they all became friends. And so I just used them shamelessly.
Wow. I love that. That's
But it's really fun
amazing.
just getting out and, you know, I mean, getting to meet people because you can read about something forever, forever. And if you
Mhm.
don't experience it, you're never going to get right, you know. So
Mhm.
oh, okay. And one last time, someone's asking what the oddest thing we've ever Googled for a book.
Um, so that would be like when I was writing one of my earliest books, which
Uh,
was a YA thriller. And I Googled, can a 15-year-old girl lift, the corpse of a full-grown male?
awesome. I have, yeah, I have something similar, but the weirdest thing, it was for the book Dead Run. And I Googled, what happens when you put bullets in a hot skillet? Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. They explode, but I had
Oh
to
my
make sure.
gosh.
And then once a friend
Wow.
of mine asked Siri when Siri was new, he's like, Siri, what's the best place to hide a body? And Siri comes back with, there are 5 wetland
Oh
areas
yeah.
near you.
Yes.
How does Siri know to throw a body in a swamp in the woods, right?
Yeah. They're scary. They can
Well,
definitely
you know, you
remove a
just kind of
body.
have to wonder about that, right? You know,
Yeah.
looks like we're gonna have to wrap up, and I'm just really sorry we do, because it's been a delight to meet you, and I admire you so much. And
Oh,
just good luck in the future and on book tour, and it's really great. And take care of yourself and your
thank
beautiful
you.
family.
Thank you so much for doing this, Tracy. You were wonderful. Just the most incredible conversation partner. So thank you for taking the time for this.
Well, listen, thank you for taking the time to see us during your incredibly busy spring. And take care, and I'll be reading your next book.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Jesse. All right. This has been a virtual presentation of Club Book, a long-running literary series of MELSA made possible by the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Special thanks again to Carver County Library for the part they played in bringing Jesse to us. Before you log off, look for the Club Book Survey, which will be in the comments, and it will shortly be projected in place of my video. And on a final note, this is the last club book event of the program spring season, but the series will be back in September with a new slate of 8 great authors. Sign up for the newsletter at clubbook.org to be among the first to learn when the next lineup drops. Thank you for joining me. It was great to be with you, and you have a terrific night, everyone. Bye bye.